Now that we have our players created and we have also created prefabs out of them, let us create our backgrounds. So I'm simply going to go in our sprites and I'm going to take this background and I'm going to position it here in the scene. I'm going to set the X and the Y 0, 0. Of course, we can select the background, and here in our import settings, we can simply configure it. So uncheck generate bitmaps because this is for 3D, set it at 2048, and here for the format, true color, and hit apply. Now, usually how I do these things is I create an empty game object. So under game object, click here and then create empty. I'm going to position this game object at 0, 0. And I'm going to rename it to backgrounds. So plural, not singular. Add S at the end, so backgrounds. And I'm going to position this background as the child, or I'm going to place it as a child of that backgrounds game object. And I'm simply going to copy and paste this background and move it here above the first one. So now we have a duplicate. But I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And selecting this background, so I have this, the top one selected, I'm going to hold the V key on the keyboard, and now we see that we have this cube here at the bottom corner of our background. And I already made a mistake, I snapped it. So holding the V key, I can snap a background to this other background. So we can snap it now, simply holding the V key and clicking the left mouse button and dragging it down a little bit. And now we have snapped these backgrounds and they look like a single background. And I can do the same thing now. So I can copy the top one, position it here below this, well, the bottom one. And now I can hold the V key again and snap it to this that's above it, and we have created these backgrounds. Now I can copy all three of them. So I can copy all three of them, position them here, and I can, well, zoom in a little bit and I can snap them here. And again, copy these three again and position them here. And now I can again come here, zoom in a little bit, and I can snap them right here. And this is how we create these backgrounds. So simply repeat the process until we have those backgrounds. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of them and position them here like this, and zoom in and snap them here, and copy them again. So copy again and position them here. And now I'm going to zoom in again and snap them. So let me just zoom in and snap them. And I think that this will be enough. So let me just select the main camera and go here. So yeah, this is enough. On the x-axis, we are going to go up to 46. And as I said, this is enough. In the negative axis, we are going to go up to negative 46. So this will be enough for our backgrounds. So this is what we are going to do with our backgrounds. I'm also going to drag our moon here. So I'm going to position the moon somewhere around here so it's visible. And when I go here in the gameplay, and if I scroll the camera, we are going to see the moon, and this will give some, well, nice effects in the game. Of course, you can add some other features, I don't know, other stars or some distinguishable elements that are different than these stars that we have here in our regular background. Now, the same way that we have created our backgrounds, we are going to create our grounds. So I'm going to drag the ground here in the scene. I'm going to position it here like this. And for the ground, I'm going to select it. I'm also going to apply a box collider 2D on it because our players are going to be able to move on that background. And I'm going to set the order in layer to be 1. Why at 1? Well, if I select my backgrounds, they are at sorting layer or order in layer 0. This is going to determine, and let me just explain. So here we have this sorting layer in the sprite render. By default, we only have this one, which is called default. And here we can click on to add more sorting layers. If we add more sorting layers, so if, for example, I say here ground, or let me just say background. So background, and below it is going to be ground. And if I set this ground to be on the sorting layer ground, and the backgrounds are going to be on the sorting layer backgrounds. This means that the layer that's first here is going to be rendered first. The layer that's after that is going to be rendered second, or on top of the first layer. So now if I take my ground, for example, and notice I've set the backgrounds all to be on the background sorting layer. And below it we have the default sorting layer. So if I take the ground now and put it on the default sorting layer, notice now how our background, or excuse me, how our ground is going to be disappeared, or it's going to disappear. So if I click now, we don't see it anymore. And that's because it's rendered first. On top of it, the layer, or on top of the default layer, we have the background layer, which is, as I said, rendered on top of it and blocking our, well, ground because it's rendering first. So I can, again, as I said, use these sorting layers, but I can also use, so let me just delete these sorting layers. We are not going to use them. I can also use this order in layer, which works the same way. So, but for the same sorting layers. So if I take the sorting layer and I put the ground to be at the one sorting layer, it's going to be rendered on top of the sorting layer that's 0. So if I take the grounds now, and I need to set them back to the default sorting layer, and if I set them to be at sorting layer 2, they are going to be rendered on top of the sorting layer 1 again. And we are doing this because if we restart the game, we might not see our grounds, and that's why I'm setting here to be order in layer 1, so that they are always rendered on top of our our backgrounds, and that they are visible so that we can see them. And I'm going to position them here at -6 for the y-axis so that we can see them here. Or we can place them a little bit above, so let's say -5.5, but it's not important. I'm going to position them -6. We can always alter this position. On the x-axis is going to be 0, 0. And also I'm going to create an empty game object, which is going to be at 0, 0 position, and this is going to be our grounds. And I'm going to drag the grounds here in our background, or excuse me, in this grounds empty game object. And the same way, I'm going to copy and paste it, and I'm going to snap it here. So snap it to this other one, and also copy and paste it again and snapped it here on this other one. So now we have these backgrounds. And I can do the same thing as we did with our, well, background. So I can copy all 3 of them, place them, well, move them here a little bit, and zoom in and snap them. Copy them again and place them here, and zoom in a little bit and snap them again. So holding the V key, snapping them here. So here we have our grounds. And now I'm going to copy all of them, position them here. So let me just zoom in so that I can snap them. So zooming in, and I can snap them. Of course, we can have these gaps again, so we can zoom in and position them a little bit better. So zoom in, position a little bit better. It will take a little bit of time to put this in order, but it will only be once, and then we can continue with our game. So zoom in a little bit, position them a little bit better so that they snap with each other perfectly. And the last one, snapping it here. And let me just move out a little bit. And what I need to do now is, let me just go here and select all of these. So from here up to here, and copy them, and again zoom in. So let me just zoom in a little bit and snap them here. Again, we need to select each individual and snap it to this next on its right side. So snap it here, and again move here a little bit, snap it here, and also snap it here. So again, snapping it here, and lastly snapping it there. So practically we are done setting up our grounds and our backgrounds. If I take the camera now, I'm in the game view. If I take the camera and move it like this, we are going to see our backgrounds, and we can go up to here. So up to 46, we are not going to go further, and I can go up to -46, which we are going to strict our camera also in the code. But we have our backgrounds and our grounds set up. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to program our player walking and jumping, but we are going to do that in the next video. So we are going to stop here and I will see you in the next video. If you like what you see, please like the video, share it, tell to your friends or tell your friends if they want to learn game development. They can join us here. We are going to build a nice community. I'm going to continue posting these cool videos if you continue to watch them. And well, as I said, we are stopping here and I will see you in the next video.